first introduce the session,
Yeah.
and then I'll ask you each of you to shortly introduce yourself.
Okay.
Yeah? Not too long.
Yeah.
Good.
This is a lot of water.
Okay. Welcome everybody. I think we'll start off with the session. Welcome. My name is Ajay Kapur, and I'll be hosting this session with this wonderful name, Harmony in Hospitality. I really love it. And we'll be talking here about how societal dynamics, community management, and the evolving hotel sector go hand in hand. And we'll talk with a few of our panel members on some really nice examples. For the ones that don't know me, my name is Ajay Kapur. I am a teacher at Hotel School The Hague. I'm also an alumnus. And a lot of experience in hospitality and higher education. And I've been doing these panel sessions at the Independent Hotel Show for a while now, and I really love them because you always take something new away from here. So it's always learnings, and I get to meet a lot of nice new people as well. So let's introduce our panel, and I'll ask each of you to shortly introduce yourself. May I start with Felicia?
Yes. Hi, guys. So I'm Felicia. I've been in the brand and marketing for almost 10 years now. Originally more coming from fashion, so I worked 8 years for Scotch & Soda fashion brand, and there I was responsible for the brand activation. It's basically a very nice name, but it's basically everything that you do to position your brand. So it goes from charity initiatives to brand events, sponsorships, and now I actually joined the Social Hub 7 months ago. So hospitality is quite new for me, but I have to say that I really like it so far. So that's a bit of my background.
Thank you, Felicia. Laura?
Hi, everyone. My name is Laura. I'm
Can we
not sure
check the
I'm
mic?
on.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are. Hi, my name is Laura. I'm the community manager for Zoku Amsterdam. I've been with Zoku since 2021, and I am in charge of everything community. This ranges from taking care of our long-stay guests, all our co-working members, and our entire publicly facing event programming. So I haven't been experiencing boredom, to say so, and I'm very, very excited to be here today.
Good.
Hello, my name is Joachim. I'm in hospitality for 15 years now. I worked for Accor for 10 years, opened up Ink Hotel here in Amsterdam. Then I was responsible for bunk hotels, hotels in former churches. And since 2 years for The Usual, a new sustainable hotel brand. And we are opening up in 3 weeks in Rotterdam and Brussels. In the coming 5-6 years throughout Europe.
Oh, okay. Thank you for your introduction. I would like to start off with asking a first question. Maybe I start with Joachim first. If you look at the societal changes that are out there, things changing around us, you're starting a new brand of hotels. What kind of things have you taken along from those societal changes that are really important in your new upcoming brand?
Yeah, to us, I think it's a lot. But what we see is also after COVID, people want to travel, but they're also more and more aware of the footprint. So for us, the main focus is sustainability for our operations, our buildings. What you also see is the community, so the local community who is not working 5 days per week in offices anymore. So they are looking and also don't want to work from home. So they are looking for new places to work. Many do that in restaurants or in hotels. So the focus on the locals is what we really see as a trend for already a few years, but what we have in our concept as well.
Okay, and when we were just talking before the session, I asked that question, who's your target market? And you kind of surprised me with your answer.
Yeah, so for the public space, it is the locals. Everything is designed to cater the locals. And it comes for the design, but also the prices. If you ask the traditional hotel prices for a cup of coffee, etc., then you don't have the locals in. And when you see the design of our hotels, you walk into the space and you don't see, we don't have a lobby, we have a self-check-in, but even that one is hidden just in the back of the place.
Okay.
So that you have the feeling that you walk into kind of a coffee store or a restaurant, but not in a hotel lobby.
So it's kind of a hidden hotel, actually.
The hotel part is definitely hidden, and if you look from the outside, you look up, you see 6 floors, and you see 200 rooms. But the hotel part is hidden when you walk into the space. Yes.
Okay, interesting to hear that. I'll go to the next one, Lara. Also, from your point of view, are any societal changes that you really see having an impact in Zoku?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the concept of Zoku basically builds on 2 very big societal changes that will keep getting bigger and bigger. One of them is urbanization. By 2050, 75% of the world will be living in urban areas. And as a result of that, we have the second point, which is resource scarcity that leads to sustainability. We have to be very conscious of the space that we have because it's going to be increasingly scarce, and also the functionality of it. So Zoku operates on a 168-hour concept, meaning we're trying to introduce a meaning and a purpose to all our spaces and all our hotel rooms 24/7. So I think these 2 things now, of course, accelerated by COVID and accelerated by the climate crisis, will only become more and more important. So these are definitely 2 very, very big points for Zoku.
Yeah, so starting off with the urbanization, a lot of people coming together in the same places, and then the scarcity of resources, maybe also related to sustainability partly, I think, but also finding the right place to get together is important, and how that enhances the experience.
Absolutely. I think in the past we've seen this structure of you have a home, you have an office, there's a cafe, you have to commute in all these places, you need a parking lot for all these places. And then when you look at the percentage of time that space is truly used, it's very, very low. So this is, I think, where concepts like Zoku come in to say, hey, we can have all these things well designed together in the same space.
Yeah. And in that regard also increase your revenue. And have not empty spaces not being used, but actually making some profit on it as well. Yeah, okay, interesting. Actually, same question for you, Felicia. Also, any societal changes that have a big impact within the social hub?
To add on that, I really think for us it's also the behavior of people, of course, is changing over time. And I think there it's really important that you see not so much of the functional traveler anymore, but also really people looking for a purpose. And I think that really resonates with every one of us. I mean, in your daily life, and I think how we manage to connect all of that under one roof. So we really try to get everybody together with our mission. That's basically creating a better society. And how we try to do that is, of course, also what you're mentioning, but also try to stay away from the traditional model of being a hotel, but really being a gathering place for people to come together, to make connections, and to share a similar mindset. So I think, that for me is also a societal change, that people are really looking for a purpose nowadays.
Okay.
So,
I can recognize the purpose part as well, but I can also see that for some people, purpose might be a bit vague. So how do you bring in purpose at the social hub?
Yeah.
How do you translate it?
Yeah, so I think, of course, purpose is a vague word, but I feel that what you have to feel is when you step into our spaces, that you feel welcome, no matter where you're from, what your cultural background is, and also to feel part of something. And that's what we try to do. So we have, I will go into that hopefully a bit later on, but we have a lot of events that we host on a monthly basis to really draw the community in. So really that you have a feeling that indeed you're part of a bigger purpose, indeed.
Yeah.
That's basically.
Well, maybe let's go into the events that you talk about. What kind of things do you do?
Yeah, so we have a monthly event program, which we call Community Experiences. And basically, actually, it's just that everybody can join our events for free. It's a full event program where no matter if you're a local, if you're a hotel guest that stays for one night, you want to stay for 9 months, you can all enter these events for free. And we have a connector. That's really a position on the floor, so a very operational person. But that's basically your guardian to both the city, but as well as to our hub. And that person really is guiding you on all of these events, making sure that you are part of it. And these events can vary from an art workshop, but also very impactful events. So we host panel talks, workshops. We really have a lot of different ways of getting people engaged, basically. Okay. So I think for us, that's definitely our event program. where we really engage with people and where we make them part of our story. Yeah.
And these connectors have an active role in getting people to connect with each other. I'm assuming
yes.
the name
That's
means
the name
that,
indeed.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's also the beauty of the name indeed. So it's really connector. So you're basically responsible for making sure that no matter if you're indeed like a hotel guest or you're staying longer with us or you're a local, that you feel part of the story, and also that you, it's really like your guardian to both of our hub, but also to the city. So it has that person also has a lot of knowledge on the city, because for us it's also important to guide you also, that we are your guardian when it comes to the city as well.
Well, also a bit of the concierge, as we used to have it. Yes.
A bit, I would,
bit as well.
yeah, a
Okay.
bit, but yeah, I think for me that person is really, that's why I really like the role that we managed to get in all of our hubs, because it's putting people first, basically. So that's why I really think the connector role for us is very essential.
Okay, good to hear. Thank you for the example. I would like to go to Laura, because you are also a connector, right? I mean, your name is even community manager, so how do you do this?
Absolutely. I am the operational person there on the floor producing all the events. For us, it's really the programming happens in-house. So I'm also the designer and also the person who executes. Very, very fun role. I can't be upset with myself because I created these things myself. I think if I tap into what Felicia was saying earlier about purpose, what drove me to Zoku was the purpose of trying to reduce loneliness, which when I thought about a hotel brand and associating it with reducing loneliness, I thought, okay, how does this work? This isn't usually a very common purpose. But when we looked at our customer base, the co-working members, for example, they're all freelancers, they're entrepreneurs. That's why they don't have an office with a bigger team, because they mostly work by themselves. There can be a lot of loneliness in that sort of position. Same for our long-stay guests. There's a lot of business travel that happens. You can be somewhere for an entire month to lead a new project or implement something. That can, again, be very, very lonely if you're just there to work and there's nothing else there for you. And then that can be expanded into the wider city. There can be a lot of loneliness in people not finding a community, whether that is like-minded people who meet to discuss sustainable initiatives, or people who want to find other creative souls to bond with. So our event programming revolves around bringing people together. Yeah. So often this means I host community dinners, and people get to meet strangers, which is very rare to do these days voluntarily. But there's a lot of beauty in that. We host a lot of purposeful events. I think that's where we also have a lot of similarities with the social hub. And of course, very large-scale parties to bring a lot of people under the same roof with the love of music.
No, it sounds really good. I'm sold at this point. So it's very nice to see the purpose made very concrete in that example of loneliness, which I can relate to as an entrepreneur, but also as a traveler. I can imagine that. Yeah, nice. Joachim, also from your new concept, the usual. May I ask what's the purpose?
Yeah. We want to show the industry that we can do it differently. So we don't have any secrets, but we do have, I think the last 3 years was only development and talking with a lot of suppliers, how to do things differently, how to build differently, how to run operations differently. And we don't have secrets, so we want to share that with the industry after we found out that it works. So that would be the main purpose, that during, and people are more and more aware that when you're traveling, that you can take trains, or that there's a more sustainable way of traveling. But a big part of that travel is your hotel stay, and that's what we want to kind of to activate or to change.
Yeah. Okay, and there also you call it the usual, because it is actually the opposite of the usual, but this is the usual you want, or?
Yeah, in the future we see this as the usual.
Yeah.
And today it's not, but in the future this should be the usual.
Yeah, so that's kind of your purpose as well,
Yeah.
that this new way of running a hotel and being in a hotel is becoming the new
Indeed,
usual
yes.
hotel way. Okay, good. Really nice examples. But I know also from my experience in hospitality, things always don't always work out as you want them to. So I'm curious, are there sometimes examples maybe that of things that didn't work out as intended in connecting or managing the community or in any other way? Does anybody have an example?
I thought of one. It relates to these community dinners, right? They started as a concept, as a ritual that we would offer to both our long-stay hotel guests and our co-working members. Because, of course, the best communities are those where people mingle, where you don't have separate bubbles. So that was the concept all along until I started questioning myself. Why are we only having 2 co-working members show up to a dinner and 10 hotel guests? And that led, and I think that curiosity, there has to be a lot of curiosity and acceptance that sometimes we design things, but things take a life of their own. I asked, hey, what's going on? What are your needs? Because we're not here to implement something forcefully. I want to implement something that comes for a real need. And then the responses were coming, so from our long stay hotel guests, they're like, yeah, we're here in the city, we're just relocating, we're new, we don't know anyone, we don't know the city, we want to try stroopwafels. And then our members were saying, hey, I've been living in Amsterdam for 15 years, I'm looking for a co-founder, I have my family, I have my group of friends, I see the other co-working members on a daily basis, but your hotel long stays change almost every single month. I'm here for more profound relationships in my life, and to be very mindful about quality versus quantity. And then I had to make the decision of saying, maybe for this particular event, we shouldn't forcefully bring these 2 bubbles together because clearly they have different needs. So now we have this residence community dinner connecting our long stay guests who are super excited to find people who are exactly in the same chapter like they are, new to the city, really, really enthusiastic. And then we have member dinners where we really see them connect and gather. And then the next day, they start sharing their charger or start sharing a co-working table together and actively inviting each other to continue those deep conversations.
Oh, a really nice example. I think it's important to look at the need actually of these different guests who might look similar but have different needs at all. So it's a very, very nice example. Felicia, do you have an example as well?
Yeah, I do. I think, well, in my role, basically, I'm responsible for the Netherlands region, so for 6 locations. And what I see there is that you sometimes you really feel that you have a one-size-fits-all. So you think, oh, what works in this location would work on another location. But actually, I really realized that it's really also about like the cultural differences of a city and what makes a city unique. So for us, for example, Delft, perfect example, what would work in Delft wouldn't work in Maastricht, for example. Well, for the Dutch people, you hopefully know a bit what I'm directing to, but it's 2 totally different cities with a different audience also. So for me, also taking that into account and learning from that is also very important. That you shouldn't think like, oh, I'm just replicating something. Really, really have a tailored approach to each location as well. Yeah.
I can imagine that with 6 locations within the Netherlands, the differences are big. Yeah. Joachim, maybe from your side as well, some examples from your vast experience.
Yeah, because for the usual, we are opening in 3 weeks. So I think in 2 months, I will have plenty of examples for this. Yeah, difficult. So no, I can use an example for the usual of what I find challenging, because what we want to do, what we want to introduce, is to do a daily dish, so the Dutch daghap, and to do that every day. But we don't have a different menu, another menu. So the only thing we do every day is in daghap. We do that on a very small period of time, so that we make sure that everyone is there at the same time, eating together the same dish, sharing stories. But we don't have something else to eat. So in 2 months' time, I can tell you if that works or if it's... but I really believe that doing every day something very good, and we do it also with a partner, so with... every 3 months we change chefs, and we have famous chefs from the city who are making the recipes for that dish to create a bit of a story. But that I would find very challenging, and so
I can, but I'm curious to know how this will work out in reality, because the idea sounds good, but let's see how people react to it finally. And but maybe also looking at a broader scope, because I know you have investors, for example, behind your new concept. I can imagine that also for investors, you talk about sustainability. Not every investor is on board directly because, unless it makes money or saves money or in some way adds a benefit in value. So how did you handle this part?
Yeah, I think we are happy that we have investors. There's private equity from London, and that they're really fan ambassadors of the brand. So they are full in. They even push us sometimes to be more sustainable. And of course, they like the idea and they find it very important. But they also understand that it has a return. And at the moment, maybe the return you cannot calculate it yet. But I think in 2-3 years' time, there's a very clear way. And almost as a top-up, if you have a very sustainable operation building, that the whole company has an extra value. But there are challenges, of course, with the investors. When you look to ESG, all the social part, so not only what you do for the community, but also for your people, that you pay them a normal salary. So we communicated salaries when we start hiring. They are a bit above the market. That was a discussion with our investors. They asked why do we pay more than what's needed? And of course that's because we think that the salaries, and they increased a bit since this year, but the salaries in the industry are just not on the level it should be.
Yeah, and that's one of the changes you want to make as well. If I look at the usual.
Yeah, that's one of the few changes, but that's something we find very important.
Okay. Well, it's good to have those investors on board.
Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah,
indeed.
And also looking into challenges. I'm looking at you, Felicia, for a moment. I know the student hub used to be. Oh, sorry, the social hub. Wow, I actually mixed up the names. The social hub used to be the student hotel. A big rebranding. Could you explain a bit about why and how that has worked out?
Yeah. So, the student hotel initially indeed was our name, and I think you can put it. You can phrase it like this: that I think we outgrew our name, basically. So, I think if you position yourself as a student hotel, you know more or less who you're targeting and who you will get in. And we were actually seeing something really different. We were seeing indeed travelers, but also like co-workers coming in, more entrepreneurial people from an older age. So actually the name didn't really resonate with us anymore. And then you go through rebranding indeed. But I think for us, looking at the new name, I'm really happy with the new name also because it's very self-explanatory, right? So for me, like the social hub, I don't have to explain a lot on what we find important because we put social in the name and we put it first. And also a hub is like, for me, very essential because it's a gathering place. So I'm very happy with the new rebranding, but I do also see still the perception of people still thinking about the student hotel. And that's on us. I think it's a journey always when you do rebranding to build on that name, and it doesn't go overnight that you change that perception. But I also feel that it's building on the name, but a lot of people still think like, oh, when I say, I work for a social hub, and they're like, no clue. And then I say the student hotel, they're like, oh, so we have still a way to go, I feel, but it's still recent. We did it in 2022, so we're still building on that name. Yeah.
And interestingly, you also took out the name hotel.
Yes.
So again, the hidden hotel idea, I'm seeing that more back, where the hotel is actually not the most important part of the brand or the venue. Yeah.
No. So for us, I think hub in that sense is a perfect word, indeed, because we have meeting and event spaces and also co-workers, but also, of course, like our short-term and long-stay people staying with us. But I think hub there for me really is a very good word because you don't have to explain it because for people it's what we do. We want to make connections. We want people to actually come to us and to feel that it's their second home and that they can just walk in and feel comfortable. So I think for us the word hub works very well because of it. Yeah, that is so self-explanatory in that sense. Yeah.
No, I can especially feel with the target market you might have in mind. It works because if I would explain my dad, he's going to a hub, he would be asking, why not a hotel? But I do understand it fits in with the societal changes that we have, where people want to get together. Laura, I also have a question for you. And I know Zoku, when it started off here in Amsterdam a few years ago, there's a lot of word of mouth in getting the brand out and getting people in. And I know that you also have expanded now to different cities, Vienna, Paris, Copenhagen, I'm not sure. So how do you actually start off building a new community when there's nothing there yet?
I think that's a brilliant question, because of course it's one thing to manage an already existing community, and it's another thing to start it from scratch. I can relate a little bit to that because I started during a lockdown when everything was closed, so you can't really start a community like that. So I can only imagine what it is for the other community managers in the other cities. It often starts with the employees, because the employees believe so much in the purpose and in how the place is and what it stands for, that they are the first people to basically be brand ambassadors and say, hey, I started this new job. It's very, very cool. You need to check out our rooftop spaces. We have live music happening every Friday night. So it is indeed that sort of word of mouth, and it even feels more genuine, right? Because this is from someone who spends hours and hours at that place. And then I think it's definitely about tapping into the right sort of groups to host events there and to bring them over. So for instance, recently in Copenhagen, we started hosting their LinkedIn events. Right, so these are official LinkedIn events, perfect for our target audience, because these are business people, definitely right age. They're happy to socialize, happy to have some drinks. So it's really about finding those key groups in all those cities, and of course targeting it and customizing it to the local culture, local language, because that can also be a big factor in community building. Are we all speaking English in France? Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet.
I can imagine that. So actually, one of the things that you say is that your employees, your team is really important.
Yeah.
And I can assume from the others as well. Obviously, right? It's a very important part in connecting people. Your team needs to do that. So, what are things that you do with your employees that might be different than other hotels or other places? What makes you unique? I'll start off with you, Laura, because you started about it, but I'm curious to know.
I think it's something very hard to describe, and I will definitely stay away from the word family, because I think we've seen it used way too often in companies explaining their culture. I think there's genuine care, and care takes effort and attention, whether that is fostering a culture of trust. Hey, you told me you're sick, totally understand. By the way, we've sent a get well soon card. It's about these sort of things. Plus all those small benefits, like, of course you can have a free after-work drink after you finish your shift. You've checked out 75 people today. You definitely earned that glass of white wine.
Yeah.
I think these, together with the fact that people genuinely care for each other, of course everybody's there to work, but everybody's also there at work thanks to everybody else making it an incredible atmosphere. I think that's what's driving employee engagement.
Yeah.
And this sort of strong ambassador position from everybody.
Yeah. So the word care comes up here, and you care for your people.
Yeah.
That's why they want to be part of it and work harder and do all the things they have to do. Yeah. Good. Okay. Felicia, anything from your side? What do you do with the employees?
Yeah, I really think that Laura describes it very well. I think for us, it's also indeed what Laura is saying. It's the togetherness feeling, and also sharing like a mutual goal and vision. Also, that goes broader, I think, than our company. So more like a vision on the world. And if you want to make the world a better place, and also you would resonate with a company that has that vision. So I think for us, if you look at the people that work at the social hub, you really feel that mutual feeling of, we know we cannot change the world, but at least we can make it a better place. And I really feel that's also how everybody feels.
Yeah.
And I think we have also really like some technical things which helps with team bonding. So we have Office Vibe, where you every week have to describe how you're feeling. It goes really into mental health, but also you can, in an anonymous way, you can actually describe how your day was or what you find challenging. And I think that those are also small things that contribute to a bigger level, because then you feel valued and also you feel heard. And I think that's very important. Yeah.
Okay, but all again linking to that bigger purpose of making the world a better place in some way and doing it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Joachim, and anything, because you already say that good pay is one part of it. I'm assuming there's more to it.
Yeah, I think it's all about, and it's taking care and about training them in the right way. And of course, when you open a hotel, you have a bit more time. You have the full team together, so you can really onboard them and explain them, so that they understand why we made certain choices the last 3 years. And for instance, the training, the team in Rotterdam started 2 weeks ago. Last week, they were at the Futsal Tuin, so a charity we support in Rotterdam. We have our own little garden there. They went to the Good Floor, which they take out plastic from the rivers of Rotterdam, and they make floors. And our floors are designed with the Good Floor, and they were trained to make the Good Floors themselves. So they are really now a fan of the brand. So they go to all our suppliers, and you can't do that when you onboard people in 2 weeks after opening. So we have to have different training programs for them, but we make them really understand the brand and why we made certain decisions.
Well, this is very transparent what you do there.
Yeah.
And
I think it's about that.
Yeah. So it's transparency and engagement into what again your purpose is, and following that.
Yeah.
No, really nice examples. So after hearing all these great examples, I'm also looking at the audience if there might be any questions you might have. And if so, please ask them. And if not, I'll continue asking questions, so don't worry. So, but I'm just checking in if there's any questions from somebody. Yeah, there you go. Just wait for the mic for a moment.
Hi. My name is Ernst Jonker, and I'm a researcher with the Expertise Center for Leisure, Hospitality and Tourism. And because I'm a researcher, I'm interested to know how do these three concepts actually measure? Well, the usual hasn't started yet, so maybe it's a bit premature. But the other two, how do you actually measure whether your intentions, whether your the activities you do actually meet the goals that you set up front?
I think that's a clear question. How do you know the bottom line, right? How do you know it works?
It's an excellent question. I think for Zoku, we had to standardize a lot our social impact reporting, because Zoku is also a B Corp. So part of why we are a B Corp is because we are able to show tangible results that link to our social impact. And social impact in itself is sometimes very difficult to quantify. Trust me, I've spent a lot of time looking at an Excel spreadsheet trying to figure out how do you measure if someone is less lonely, let's say, right? And for instance, for us, we now look at a few key metrics. In the past 2 years, I've looked at participation in community dinners from our long stays. And I was especially looking at repeat participation in community dinners. We've had someone who attended 26 dinners. And if that doesn't say something about how what we offer genuinely created something of value to this person, for someone to come 26 times to a dinner and meet strangers, I think that's incredible. So one of the metrics is this repeat engagement with our events. Oftentimes is reviews. Would they be willing to recommend our concept to someone else? And actually mention the community part. So I've been very much tracking our reviews from our long stays and seeing what do they say about us. Do they appreciate the social nature of Zoku? But I'm sure there's so many other factors that we can track. There's so many other things we can quantify. I just want to also say that it will always be impossible to quantify 100% of social impact. There's so much going on that we will simply not be able to even know about. But I think starting with a few of these tracking points is a great move for us. And of course, it adds us a lot of points in our B Corp presentations because we're able to provide tangible results. I hope that's helpful.
You get a thumbs up. Okay, that's positive. And maybe from the others as well, anything you would like to add on? How do you look at it?
Yeah, for us also, I like to add on Laura's story. I think for us, it's also, we engage in an app. So we have a social hub app where we also track, we call it a happiness score. So that says it all, I feel. So people can actually really tell how they enjoyed it or not enjoyed it. And we have certain...
In the app, they give a score.
Yeah, they give a score. So it's also very tangible and it's also very practical because then you can really see per location also the differences and also where we can improve. So for us, it's really also the app and that happiness score that we also track how people, if they are happy at the end. So yeah,
very, very measurable. Yeah. Anything to add, Joachim?
Yes, our aim is to become a B Corp, but we need to be open first and then have results. And then, but all our processes, guidelines are developed to become a B Corp, hopefully next year. And there are so many kind of scores available from building to operation. So I think it's how to connect all those scores together. And we will use software for that. Which we will implement from May. So yeah, that will give the results, and hopefully by the end of next year we will have our first reporting, and it's reporting from our building, from our payroll, so all those kind of things combined together in one piece of software.
Yeah. So very much on the measurable side as well
Yeah.
for you. Also thinking maybe again of your investors, it's always important to get clear, what the results are. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any more questions? Then I still have a question. I'm gonna.
one.
Wait. Yeah, there's one in the back.
Hi everyone. I mean, if you ask enough times, if someone wants to ask a question, I just thought of one.
Good.
To help. Now, you can plan a kind of pipeline of future properties you want to operate, right? You kind of have success with a few, and then you grow bigger and you plan a kind of pipeline of X number of rooms. Can you talk about how you plan rolling out evolutionary kind of communities? You know, things that you find, because communities are dynamic, they're based on place. How do you include community rollout with a pipeline of rooms and property rollout?
Okay, good questions. Yeah, so how to include community rollout when you're looking into rolling out your hotel brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Felicia, you want to go first?
Yeah, so for us, we are opening in Rome next year. And I think there we really see also that you have to be very mindful of, first of all, like governmental, the institution itself. So what we saw there and how we really are connecting it is that we basically went to them and to say like, okay, what are you missing at the moment? So how can we contribute to the neighborhood, and what can we actually do to fill in a gap? And then they said to us like, oh, well, actually, we're missing a lot of parks in Rome. Well, we didn't know. And then what we now managed to do is create sort of a city park. So when we're opening, it will be open for everyone. So also you give something back to the actual location and to the neighborhood. So also there, I think it's important that you take that in and not just come in a new city being like, hey, here we are. So I think you also have to really look together with the city that you want to come in, basically.
Yeah. Does it answer your question partly?
Partly.
Okay. Maybe if anybody wants to add on, because it's a really nice example of actually asking
back, yeah.
what is it that you need
Yeah.
to the community. Yeah. No? Okay. So let me see if there's any more questions. Otherwise, I will go to my question. Because that's a question actually I do definitely want to ask. And that question is, because we were talking about this, rounding off. I hear things like purpose, the employees are important. We talk about the hidden hotel. What's your definition of hospitality nowadays? And I'm looking at Joachim, because you've been in hospitality for 15 years. So maybe you can talk about what you have seen change and where you stand if you look at hospitality?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it changed because I think it's all about taking care and making people happy, and that's
Yeah.
what's it already for maybe hundreds of years, and it will. I think it's continue to be like that. So
Yeah.
taking care.
In essence, it stays the same, taking care, making
Yeah.
your guest happy. Yeah.
Maybe the concept around it changes, but people come to us because we take care. So yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
it for me.
Clear. So a lot of changes, but actually the concept stays the same.
Hmm.
Felicia, you're quite new to the hospitality. How do you look at it?
Yeah, I think I actually agree with Joachim. For me, it's also really because it's for me very recent, of course, joining the hospitality industry. What I've noticed is that for me, like the human, centralization of it. For me, I was really surprised. Like it's really about people, and of course I knew that when I entered. But for me, I really would say I'm very surprised on the empathic human part of it, and I think that will anyway grow in the next years because I think you will only succeed as a brand if you actually manage to also be open to new perspectives, to hear what somebody else has to say, and to also broaden your view there. So for me, it's really about that, the human part.
Yeah, and staying connected with people.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Laura, anything to add from your side?
I mean, I very much agree with both of these. We've had, funnily enough, we've had a conversation at a dinner about hospitality, and we ended up, and when I say we, was this group of people. Someone was working at a bank, someone was working in a fashion company, and someone else was working for a payments company. And funnily enough, all of them sort of got to the same conclusion that the moment they can relate to the most in terms of experiencing hospitality was in a hostel.
Okay.
Because they were saying that felt genuine, that it's not about fancy design chairs, that it's not about how hyper technological flushing the toilet is, but it's really about feeling genuine care and feeling like they were indeed, the human part was indeed like the main focus. And I thought that was very interesting because we sometimes forget to tap into the back to basics in hospitality.
Yeah. Yeah, the human part is important, and especially if you talk about community building, I think the connection is through human connection, and obviously all the IT stuff is important. I think we all agree, but yeah, what I hear back is the human connections are very important. Well, I personally agree with that as well, and I would like to round off with that thought as well, and ask if you could give a big hand of applause to our panel members. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you.
Guys.